Rugged, lightweight, comfortable, handcrafted rockin' leather boots. Made to work all day and be out all night. RockinLeather.com. Introducing the Rixie Generation 2 Dog Stand. Lightweight, collapsible, and engineered for versatility. This stand is built with a laser-cut powder-coated steel frame, tempera aluminum legs, and a durable Duramesh fabric. Weighing just under 8 pounds, it's effortless to carry and set up. With a working load limit of 120 pounds, it attaches to nearly any tree. Available now at RixieOutdoors.com.
Winter Productions, content creation company that is here to tell your story, whether it's about the love of your life or capturing the chance of a lifetime. We are here to tell your story.
Roll up to the club in my 1964 caddy, straight ready to start. At a quarter to one, just a looking for fun.
You really gotta sell this place.
Yeah, very dead cut.
Let's go kill some ducks.
Take another shot, get a lip on me, baby. Ooh, it's a quarter to
Let's go. Yeah. I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it. Fuse like a magnet, lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes.
It's time to talk dog vest. Recoil Outdoors dog vest. We use this dog vest all season long. It's stood up to the test. Let's talk some features about it. This dog vest is built with industrial grade Velcro for a snug fit around the neck, unlike any competitors. This vest comes with dual rear straps for a snug fit around the waist. This vest allows for a tucked away handle for the timber or an open handle for open water. This vest also comes with covered edges around the neoprene to prevent chafing. Recoil vest also comes with a Cador chest strip that runs the length of the vest to prevent punctures and cuts. This vest comes in 6 different sizes, tailored to fit the smallest boykin to the biggest lab. Recoil Outdoors, the only fully adjustable one-piece dog vest on the market. Check them out online.
Welcome back to another episode of Life Between the Vice, brought to you by Rockin' Leather, Rixie Outdoors, HuntProof, Bluebird Waterfowl, 30 Duck Coffee, Winter Productions, and Recoil Outdoors. Now let's get it started. What's up, everybody? Hoping this is all working great. I think it is. The guys can probably hear me over on the other screen right now. Okay, I can mute myself up so I'm not just blowing their ears up. But no, we've got the guys from HuntProof. Yeah. And it's gonna be pretty awesome. And we're gonna have a fun little conversation here. We've been trying to do this for a while, and everything's working out. I've spent a bunch of money tonight. We'll hit that up maybe on the next one, or after this, but we're gonna hop over in just a second and tell the guys let's go. Hey guys, I'm gonna kick it over in just a second to the interview. Yeah, I forgot I could have done that. I could have been looking on this screen. Hey, there we go. You guys should be able to hear me, correct? I'll wait.
No. Yep, good.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, so I'm going to hit record now on the audio side of the podcast because I just now did that. So, hey, that's fine. The audio side is just going to jump right to it. We got Steven and Nathan from HuntProof over here. I'm going to try to clean it up. Everyone's punctual on time, and I am just the slowpoke. There we go. Hey, guys. We've been trying to do this now for a little while. I'm covering up.
Yeah.
And it's just been a crazy kind of trying to make it happen with everyone's schedule. Mine might be the worst to an extent.
Yeah, man. Happy to be here. We've been talking about it for a while. I know well before NWTF, and then NWTF had primed it back a little bit. And happy to and pumped to finally make it happen.
Yeah, man. I don't even know where to start because there's so much to talk about, and I don't want to hold you guys all evening. Just like the products that like you guys are like cranking out right now. Like when we first started to do this podcast, you had like basically one input, I guess, on the app, and now we're up to like 3 inputs on there, and I can't decide which one's my favorite. So I'm gonna blame Steven for that.
No, wrong guy. Point it back over to the idea man.
Yeah, let's just start. You guys introduce yourself, and we'll just like chit chat about the app. I mean, hopefully by now everyone's found it. We don't need to go into a deep dive on the background of it, but let's talk like we'll get into y'all's background, and we'll hit the like features and talk about this thing.
Absolutely, Nathan. You want to kick us off?
Sure. So I'm Nathan. I'm generally, I guess you'd say, the idea guy. Outside of turkeys, that was not me. Generally, I'm a carpenter by trade, but diehard duck hunter, waterfowl hunter, and basically over many years decided I wanted to build a journaling app. Basically, I wanted to make sure it had a searchable feature. I wanted the journals to be searchable. I wanted to be able to go back and find out where I had successes and failures, keep track of harvests, details from the hunts, that sort of thing. I found out that as we specified waterfowl, people keep coming to us saying we want that same feature, but in every aspect of hunting, turkey hunting, upland hunting. We've been asked for predator, trapping, everything. Everybody wants to keep track of what they're doing. So it's definitely broadened our horizons a little bit. And we also added dog training, journaling your training sessions. That's been a huge hit. Probably going to build on that. And that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, absolutely. And so just a little bit of backstory. Nathan and I grew up together in the same town. Graduated in the same high school class. We duck hunted several times together in high school. Went on a bit of a 18-year hiatus and then picked it back up. But he had an idea for my background is in digital marketing, primarily search engine optimization, but I do development. Cut my teeth in design and development. And Nathan had an idea for an app about 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, it's 4 now.
Yeah. Asked me if I could do it or design it, or if I had any contacts within the industry that could potentially develop it. And so we started working with a third-party developer. We built the beta test 4 years ago for Squad Fest. Was that it? Like busted ass to get it like a few days before Squad Fest. Turned really had no idea. Like didn't know how it was going to be received. Dude, it was still probably our best show. And we've been to a lot. Like it was genuinely probably our best one. Met a lot of really cool people, including the guys from Welllands who've been a very solid contact within the industry. And then just kind of took off. And so we started with the beta, Didn't have a ton on there. So you could log and kind of jack around with a few things. We were just trying it out. And then immediately we got aggressive on changes. So Nathan had a lot of ideas. We linked up with Ramsey Russell, who hunts all over the place. So then we added like weird stuff that you can only hunt in, Australia. And then built from there. So that Nathan has dogs. A lot of our users have dogs. And then a lot of the feedback that we hear all the time, or pre our dog product, was, hey man, it'd be really cool if you could add dogs in here. It'd be really cool if you could add retrieves. It could, and logging those metrics, which then turned into our dog training, or appending dogs to profiles, to our dog training log, which has been a massive hit for us. And then which slowly turned into turkey. Now we're looking at upland. Now we're in the process of building an upland module and then a kennel module. I would love to, Nathan brought up predator hunting and trapping. I would love to get into that. For basically just like a one-stop repository for anything and everything, and log anything, or be a resource for anything that you're hunting. Obviously the deer game's there's a lot of people in the deer game. So I think that'll probably come last, because we're not looking to, fully integrate ourselves into that environment just yet. We want to do, primarily bird hunting and wing shooting. But try to introduce a few modules a year. I know upland's next. And then we have a big kennel one that we're currently working on as well. That further builds out the dog training section of the app.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, it's hard to like pick a spot to start with this, because like there's so much in like a simple app that I downloaded honestly on the way to go on an Amish like vacation, and I was like, I found out about it. I was like, screw it, I'll download it, and I ran it for a little while. I think I'd ran it during like early goose, and then like the first integration of the dogs came out, and it was like a paid version. And I was like trying to get my wife. I'm like, here's my wallet, here's my information. I need this. I gotta add that for the dogs. And I mean, it is just, dude, set it and forget it, man. Auto renew that sucker, and let's just roll with it. Because I mean, it has been, I had a little bit of input on the turkey side of it, just because but turkey hunting is so weird. And we'll get to that module in a second. I think we start with like the duck hunting one. I think it's something that like, a lot of us say, oh, we're going to journal. And I'd say about 5% of us actually journal. The rest of us write about 2 notes in their phone, get mad and never touch it again. It's so easy to build. Everybody has their phone on them while they're hunting. Flip it open, hit a couple buttons, you scroll down, hit your things, you're done. It's such a simple, basic idea that Nathan, honestly, it's one of those things like someone out there is going, well, I thought of that. Well, obviously you didn't think very good about it, because it's a hit. Where do you think, with the first integration, you had a lot of big help. Where do you think that like you would be without those that first Squad Fest, without it?
I think that gave us momentum and proof of concept more than anything, is when you could see that, hey, we think this is cool. Wait, you guys think this is cool too? You know what I mean? And so it gave us, if anything, even outside of the structural feedback, I think it gave us energy, from that standpoint of like, well, hey, we have something cool here. Let's work on it.
It's one of the things where when you're always working on your own project, no matter what it is, you always think you got something. And it was definitely a proof of concept validation. When you have 400 or 500 people come up to your booth during that event, and you literally have 2 that, say that it's stupid, or that, basically they say that it's not something they want to utilize or wouldn't utilize. And everyone else is like, man, that's pretty cool. I can do this. I can do that. And some of them instantly giving feedback, one of the features of like having the crop type that you hunt, the food source. That was the day of Squad Fest that we had a guy was like, he was into crops or something. I think he was ag sales or something like that. And he said, "Oh yeah, you got to have food source in there." And he related it to an app that he used for his business.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, and that's been what, 5 years ago, 4 years ago. So, I mean, it's, that's been the coolest thing is, that day we looked at each other and all was like, okay, I think we have something. This could be, legitimate. Until then, it was like a pet project, like cross your fingers. And that was when we decided, like, okay, this really could be something. Some bigger names in the industry were like interested, and they were asking questions, liked it. And then since then, we've had that continuation. We go to these events, and people that have been in the industry for a while. Well, for instance, last NWTF, Eric Thiessen with Habitat Flats Kennels. He starts looking at what we got. We show him. He gives us some ideas. And he's just wound up about it. If you can do this and this, we could, that'd be great. And it's like, you just start getting validation from people that it's not somebody just off the cuff. Hey, yeah, let's kind of eat and walk on. They literally sit there and talk to you for 45 minutes about how much they've been wanting something like this.
Yeah, I'd say like the biggest thing that it did for me hunting wise was like where we hunt a river that changes, and it changes where we can access. That was a major thing. It was something that like we weren't tracking, which was a really bad thing, honestly. Like from us tracking it, I mean, every year we do better and better at hunting just because we're you look back, it's easy, like it's searchable. It's so simple to look back in it. And that's for me and a guy that hunts. I'm above average, probably hunter on my days. I think I try to get around 30. So I try to get a 50% hunt. And that's probably above average. A lot of guys are probably in the 15 range or less. Mm-hmm. So I mean, like, and for us and the guys I hunt with, we're around that 25 to 30 mark, all of us. And I mean, like this year we were talking about something, and we were going into the season super dry. We literally had a bad hunt. We were just sitting there. We literally started searching the app and just sitting there like, hey, where do we need the water to get to? What is going to change this? Like, what do we need this amount of rain? We need to get rivers to here. We need to get this marker to here. And that's for a basic hunter. I think what was impressive you talked about was Squad Fest, like there at the beginning was kind of, I mean, that was about the first year of Squad Fest too. And it had a lot of big names that showed up year one for it. And you guys got a lot of attention from like outfitters. And that's when outfitters are jumping on board, like then you have something that's very interesting because like, yeah. Like you said about we're going to go onto the dogs, like your dog side of it has blown up with trainers, like about every trainer, if they're not running it, it almost looks like I don't know how they're not running it, to be honest. Like I don't know if there's something similar to it out there, but like I see like that layout so much for y'all's design, and we're gonna get to like input on that because I had to look up some of the words that were on the dog app to learn how to use certain stuff. But it's definitely like it. I feel like y'all had a lot of like motivation right there, quick with like with Ramsey Russell too. I mean, that's a big name. Immediately wanting to be on board.
Yeah, and then that came out of Delta. So while the shows, like we met you at NWTF, while the shows, it's hard to. Nathan and I have a lot of tension on going to shows, right? Because from a transactional standpoint, it's hard to be like, hey, download our app. We don't sell anything. You know what I mean? But from the connections, the relationships, like that's been cool, right? When you have input from Ramsey, when you have input from the Habitat Flat guys, or input from all these various other people, and to include that in the app, now those people have ownership. Right. So it was, hey, they had input. They feel good. They're a part of the story a little bit, which also helps us. And honestly, they know more than we do. And so it's, we need that. I think it's we can't get blinders on and say, just like the food source thing. We didn't think about that. We added peanuts. We don't grow peanuts in Southern Illinois. Nathan and I didn't think about it. And so having all of this, like not necessarily crowdsourcing, but all of this feedback and everything kind of from the users has been incredibly helpful.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's kind of interesting to an extent if you just like do a blank log and kind of look at all the different stuff on there. Like you talked about all the different birds and stuff that are on there for like the non-American ones. I mean,
yeah,
And just that feature too, like it lets you track all the birds you've harvested. And like something I like about it versus the turkey, to kind of compare the two real quick, is the ability. I don't know how to word this because like I sent something to you because like I'd like to be able to count like turkey numbers that are harvested off of the farm, even if I'm not on the hunt, but like find a way to log it a certain way. Because I mean, when you're logging a duck hunt, most likely I don't know how you guys log it, but for me, I basically log the group. I mean, it's just the easiest way to do it. Like, and it makes more sense to log the group. It kind of, I mean, especially when you got a dog and you're retrieving a bunch. Like I know Nathan, like he's going to count all his retrieves. So hopefully he's getting, the dog's getting like 90% of the birds. I mean, so that's what's cool. I think about like the duck side is like your ability to kind of like log it all together and track it all. And then like you have the simple thing of like adding a picture that kind of adds a little bit to it. I think also.
Yeah, I think, I know me and you have talked about this for the turkeys as well as we've had that suggestion on the waterfowl as well, where people really like to, when they log their birds harvested or species, it's usually birds that have fallen in front of them, so if they're on that hunt, whoever, regardless of who shot them, they get in that group total. Now we have talked about being able to do something where you could select like a group profile versus a personal profile, toggle it on and off. Again, the problem you run into is you start getting super convoluted and you make a feature for 3% of the users, and then it just makes it harder for the other users that won't use it. Guys like me and you that would probably use it, they're going to eat it up, right? But then you're going to have a multitude of people that don't have any desire to deal with that. I do think that we might have some, if, and I say if, but actually it's when we build a outfitter or guides module, it'll probably be called an outfitter module that will have something more like that on there. So it'll be significantly more robust on the details of like who's there. You'll have names of all the people, stuff like that. So that'll obviously be a higher premium package, but at the same time, it would have tons of details on specifics of who's there and who shot what, and kind of keep each person individualized. But yeah, I totally agree. Like, if you sit down and play with the current, like say for turkeys, I would suggest think about how you title your hunts. If it's a group, or put names in the titles or something like that, so it's like someone else's hunt maybe, or if they just share you their hunts or something like that, to where if they share you their hunts, then your totals don't go into your totals. So you would have the hunt journal, but you wouldn't have their totals. So that, there's a lot of little ways to play with that. You could even possibly put like, you would log their hunt, but maybe not even put their bird harvest in or something like that, to where you don't want them to mess up your numbers unless you do. I mean, it just depends on what you're really going for.
Yeah, I think that's what's crazy. We could sit here and debate on how they enter and log your information, and it's it's awesome because you can like adapt it to everyone. Because like I do a lot of like, it hasn't. I wish I was smart enough to have this figured out where I could like share it and then like screen run. We could just run through it like super quick. But there's just like so much little stuff, like the descriptions. Actually, one of my favorite features in the waterfowl, and then we can start looking about moving on, is the ability to do more than one dog. Mm-hmm. And I've added like my buddy's dog, Will's Clyde dog, in there. That's a pup out of my female. Like it's in there, so when I'm on a hunt with it, I can actually track him, how much he's retrieving. With me, I got Teal, I got my other female Nala, and I got my oldest female Brandy, all in there. It kind of gives you the ability that you can track all those. I mean, not that I recommend having 3 dogs on a hunt, but in West Virginia. But I mean, honestly, we actually was on a hunt. No, it was only 3. It was only 3. Luckily, I did not have. If I'd had the pup with me, we'd have been sitting on 4 dogs for 0 birds shot. It would have been a very interesting morning. Almost had a coyote though. I mean, that almost got interesting. But yeah, it's definitely something that it's just so crazy the features in it. And then, you had that, and then you jumped over to the dog side, which I love. And like, I mean, I train with it like about every time, even if I'm doing something super simple. It just helps me add notes. Like right now, like my youngest female, our struggle point is water. I don't know why it's a point. She can swim. She doesn't care about water. It's just like she's a princess when she goes to go in water, and she tiptoes out in it, and it makes me want to pick her up and throw her about 30 yards out in it. But we're working on that, and we got different things. I've talked to some people. We got different drills we're trying, different little things. Letting her watch a lot of dogs hit water fast and run through water is like it's building that confidence. And I don't know what happened, because we let her swim as a pup. We let her do all kinds of stuff as a pup, and then her sister is out of the other litter. Actually, her brother out of the same litter, Clyde. And if you hear this, we love that dog. But man, he is a water nut. That dude would do cocaine, would choose water over cocaine. I swear, he is. That dog, like, it's one of the funniest things ever, because like if the water's cold and you don't want your dog in it yet in the morning, early in the morning, you ain't keeping that dog out unless you like bungee cord him down to your front of your deck of your boat. He will get in it the second you slide off the back of the boat to start setting decoys. He's like, nope, I'm in. And it is the funniest thing ever. And that dog, dude, he just loves it. And I mean, he's going to be a freaking hammer because of that. I'm kind of jealous. My wife don't like males, and that's the dog that I kind of sent over his way. It's funny because he owned the dad to the mother. So it's kind of like a weird he got the bloodline back to him, and the dad, he got it in a trade or something ordeal, but he was gun shy, so he never got to hunt him. So now he gets to hunt the grandson of the dad that like is just a freaking hammer. So it's pretty cool.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean the dog feature, like everything you can do in there is just crazy. And like let's jump over to like, I mean, the hunt test guys, man, they're loving it.
Yeah. So recently I have been in a lot of conversations with Jeff Coates, Pit Boss, and he's given us a ton of feedback. He's been using it, tons of feedback. And I swear every weekend we see a few downloads from his competitions he's going to, constantly sharing the app. I think he's really enjoying it. Sean, I can't think of his last name, from Firewater Farms. He has been giving me some awesome feedback and detailed of what they would like for the hunt test guys. So like our mapping on the dog training is going to have some pretty cool features. We're testing it out right now. Should be live here real quick, really, a couple weeks probably. Being able to use poison birds. Basically what it's going to allow you to do is in your mapping section, you're going to designate your marks on the actual map. And when you designate those marks on the map, it's going to also automatically choose those designations into your note section at the bottom. So if you make a mark on the map and you select poison bird, it's going to put the poison bird down there at the bottom where your note section is. And if you do white coat or white coat retired, flyer, we're creating all those options into the mapping section so you can really nail down your training setup. And what that's going to do is it's also going to be the same thing at the bottom where your note section is. We also have created an option to where, let's say you put a mark. Let's say you got 3 marks, 1, 2, 3, and that is the order of pickup, correct? 1, 2, 3. Let's say once you draw your map, you decided that was incorrect, and you might want to change the order of which you pick birds up. If you go down to the bottom, you can hold down your button on Mark 3, and you'll be able to jump it to Mark 2. And what that's going to do is you can change the order of operations in your map in case you made a mistake. So a lot of guys were saying, well, I was drawing out what I wanted to do, and I realized I want to change the order. And the only way you could do it was undo and kind of start over. And it was just took too long to redraw the whole map. So this way, if there's let's say you had three marks in a blind, and maybe you want the blind in between the 3 marks, or however it's set up. You can change that order of operation down in the bottom of the contents there where the criteria are. You just hold it down, it's going to turn a color, and you're going to be able to slide it up and down and really be able to dial in those sessions.
I mean, I don't know how first off, I'm gonna have to get like a definition out on some of these words.
Yeah, well, same here. I had to actually get clarification of like, I mean, I knew kind of what poison bird was, but I wanted to know exactly when and why, and same with like white coats and white coats retired, and what exactly, I knew generalized, but I didn't know when they're used, how they're used. Is it always this way, always not this way? Because the problem is if you build something in there into the app and it causes something else to not work right, it correlates together, so like for instance, the white coat retired. So like that's basically a guy wearing a white coat throws a dummy so the dog can see the guy. It's very visual. But retired means that he goes and hides after he throws it. So he hides behind a camo tarp or whatever, a camo netting. So trying to make sure that, okay, is that always a white coat that does that? Is there ever an option where it's a guy not wearing a white coat that's, throwing it and hiding? Like, I need to know all the options before we start creating this stuff, because I don't want to go back and do it 4 times. So anyway, it's the learning experience, because I do have a dog. I train my dog myself, and he is home, he is trained by me. He's still learning, but he gets my ducks.
Yeah, he's a meat dog. It's okay. I've got 2 of them laying behind me. They're called meat dogs, and I love them. Some of those
he's a dog that you don't know he's there most of the time, but he does go and get the ducks. Sometimes, he does a little tender-footed, like you said, yours in the cold water, but he'll go get them. But I am not in the hunt test and stuff, and I just didn't know what, so trying to make something for those people and without being proficient at it was a struggle.
Yeah, and I mean, the hunt test side of it is kind of one of those things where you got to be located in the right spot, or either have basically a kennel. I mean,
yeah.
And we're gonna jump over to the kennel guys, because it sounds like you've got a kennel feature coming soon. But I mean, if you're not close, like Jeff Coates, I mean, he's all the way up in Maryland. I think the closest, I've got like a 3-hour drive to like my closest like dog training facility.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think that one's in somewhere in Ohio. I mean, other than that, I've got a decent place at my house to do it. But I mean, a lot of your guys, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's 50-50. Would you, I mean, I don't know what you guys see. Like, I feel like it's 50-50 on like 50% of your guys owning dogs are just, they might have them trained by somebody, but they're just hunting them. They're meat dogging them. And then you got another 50% that are, training them, hunt testing them, which there's nothing wrong with either side of that thing. It's just you got to be located in the right place or have access to a trainer, basically, to send your dog off and let it spend its summers there and get all the work in, and then let them run it. I mean, because I don't even know where you would. I mean, I do have a question real quick, but like with the feature in the map, has anyone, you were talking about this, has anyone, and this might be, I don't know how to word this. Okay, this is how I word it. Is there ever a time where they pre-release the test? I don't know that answer, but like, you know what I mean? Where like they could submit out like a test early. I don't know if that's a thing they do. You know what I mean? Like a field layout early so that guys I don't think so. I feel like it's not.
I don't know that they do. So we are working with the Super Retriever series a little bit. I think they have gotten a hold of the app, been conversations with them a couple times, trying to figure out exactly where, they want to know where we're headed and see if we can present some stuff for them. From my understanding is I don't think that you get to know what the setup is. But I think there's a generality of, how would you say it? Like techniques. So, the idea of throwing a mark and making a dog ignore that mark, poison bird, so to speak, and then go pick up a blind farther past it. I think there's situations where you might have 2 marks thrown and then the dog has to go between them to go pick up something farther away. So that technique or skill, that's what I want to look for. So that skill is going to be incorporated some way, somehow, like a swim by or something like that. So I think basically what I'm seeing from Super Retriever Series and in other kennels that are using it is basically they're using the app to show the training map and portray what the dogs are doing, and they can use a description on the screen and get that out to social media like, hey, this is how these dogs are picking these up in order and what they're supposed to ignore and not ignore and how they're doing it. And it actually helps them convey how good these dogs are.
Yeah.
You know, show the skills. If you go to a Super Retriever Series social, you'll see like a couple times they put on there, like if the dog doesn't go between this certain area, the dog gets more points and et cetera, et cetera. So it's very interesting to see, especially for the outside looking in, what exactly these dogs are really doing and what's expected of them.
Yeah, I mean, I know Jeff Coates, where I follow him, like I see him post a lot of stuff afterwards, like the layout. And I guess they do post it afterwards.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to know it going in because then you could just, I mean, it's a technique base, like you said.
Yeah.
I was thinking on the fact that guys that aren't going could do it, but they could just do it afterwards. I mean, a lot of guys posted on there. It'd be a cool, it's just a cool thing. Like you get to see it. It's got all the yardages on it and stuff where you can kind of like simulate it and stuff. And that I think that's like the coolest thing about the app is you can go set that up in your yard. It's got the yardages, it's got the map all in there and all those features.
Yeah. So if you had a situation where you did a hunt test and your dog struggled, you know, if you drew your map and your hunt test situation in there, yeah, you could go duplicate that pretty easily. You know, obviously if you have the water source or something, you know, some kind of a setup that's similar, and just duplicate that and you know, repeat it over and over and over until your dog can get it right and be ready for the next time, which obviously the next hunt test might be different. But, you know, again, if it's a certain technique that the dog needs to learn, now you can, you know, keep track and keep notes. Every time you run it, put the notes in there. Did the dog do a little better, a little worse? Where were the struggles? You know, keep track of everything.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty, yeah. I mean, it's just, man, it's just so hard to like, you know, I mean, not that I'm trying to find flaws. It's like we're just sitting here trying to discuss it. But, man, like you're kind of crushing it on the dog side. I mean, you're crushing it all through the app. Like, I don't want to say it that way, but, like, it's definitely so you talked a little bit, talk about kennel. We've mentioned a couple trainers, a couple series that's looking at it. And, I mean, I'd say that's just a few of many trainers that are using it. But what's this like kennel going to look like that you got coming out soon?
So the kennel feature basically it's a very robust version of what we already have. So the idea would be so we take away a lot of the pain points that a actual kennel dog trainer would run into when it comes to volume. So generally it's going to be a volume situation. So a lot of dogs, a lot of dog owners. The idea is we're going to create an option to where, let's say you're drawing a training session and we're talking, let's say we're doing a hunt test prep, right? So you've got a really robust drawing on your map and you're going to run 7 dogs through that today or before noon. So you can draw that map one time is the idea, select which dogs are going to get it, train each one individually with notes and keep track of them individually on notes. And that's going to go into each dog's profile of what they did or didn't do in the performance. And then you can go back to the map again, draw another training session, maybe a little less robust, and train a little lower qualifying dogs. And maybe it's 4, 5, 6, 2, 1, I don't know. And then you can, so basically it's going to be about volume. We'll put some more features in that map to where it's a little easier to deal with multiple dogs and how we're going to do that. We're going to have an option to where if you're a dog owner, let's say you're my trainer and I'm the dog owner. If I have HuntProof app, I, as a premium user, can communicate with you, my dog trainer, inside the app through messaging, and you can look and see what this week's training sessions were, and then hopefully, if you had questions or you wanted to communicate with the trainer, you don't have to call them and text them all day long. You can just kind of look inside the app, and then you can maybe type a little message on there. Hey, how did the dog do on this session, or why did he have such a bad attitude, or whatever the notes are, and the trainer will be able to control how much of the training sessions the owner will see. But what that does is it might free up that dog trainer with a little more free time to not have to constantly call and text and all that communication back and forth. Just free up some time and make him a better trainer.
And I think my favorite part is that dog is associated with the owner within the owner's profile. So say you send it, say you send your dog for to a trainer for the summer, you get him back. That's still the same dog within your hunting profile. So you have all of this provenance, this story attached to that dog, even outside of just this kennel feature, just this training feature or training section, just this retrieve on a hunt on X day in December, right? So you get the breadth of that information attached to that one dog's profile rather than siloed into each individual module, which is really neat, right? Because you tell the whole story or the life of the dog.
Sorry, I muted myself so I could take a drink a second ago.
No, you're good.
That dude, I'm sitting here so I got one question and dude, I love this. I am giddy that it's so cool. I kind of wish I hadn't fixed my female now because I'm like, crap, I could have had a litter of pups. This was the thing. I kind of I think of we pull together in the summertime. We try to pull 3 or 4 of the pups out of last litter together actually and train. We train them with the mom, and I usually am the one who's keeping track of everything on my apps. But this is awesome. You could literally share all this stuff across. I'm talking about the ability to link dogs between profiles is an insane feature that I do have a question. So if a trainer X, he's training this dog and he hasn't sold it yet, will he have the ability to kind of export that to someone who he's like, hey, you buy this HuntProof app, I'll be able to link this over. I don't know if I'm making you think about something, Steven, because look on your face. But I thought about that. That's kind of it's you see trainers come up with these year-old, 6-month dogs that are started. It could. That'd be a real cool thing because a lot of guys end up buying that dog and then they send it back. So that's a really cool feature that they can kind of keep that profile going on that dog.
I've never thought of that. That's why I was which is a good point. So we have everything designed. It's just in development. So we can iterate. Nathan, you may have already thought of that. I'm sure you have. But we've looked at it from loading the owner in rather than the kennel owning the dog, which is a very good point. But that would be easy to do.
Yeah.
So the way that we've designed it back and forth, I'm sure we can do a release feature more than likely within the kennel section should that happen. Because we have an archive. Say you don't have a dog anymore, you can archive it. The owner can still talk to you about, hey, my dog's doing this. What do you think?
So I think currently the way we've decided was let's talk my dog Max. Max is going to be associated with my email from my HuntProof account, and that's going to be his account tag. So basically all you would have to do is if it's a let's say you're the trainer, Nathan, your email will be associated with that dog because it's your dog. Let's say for the first 2 years, you've hunted it 2 seasons. It's got all those retrieves, etc. And then let's say you do sell the dog, basically all you'd have to do is associate that dog with the new owner's email, and you'd be able to hopefully be able to transfer that over. At least it sounds great in my brain, but that would be the idea. There's going to be some issues with the new versions and old versions and what we can and can't do. We have to figure all that out, because I have figured out that, as you upgrade the app, things that we've had in past tense don't work together, and you have to be able to break off and go this way, and you can't bring that other old stuff into it anymore. So it'll be a learning curve for sure. It'll take some time to get built out, but I think we can. I don't know that we'll be able to handle every single situation,
Yeah.
where you can do stuff like that. But the idea would be, over time, if you start, our idea would be, if we can get kennels that want to use the app, they will want to use the app so much that they will tell the dog owners that bring their dogs in, hey, we here at, let's say, Habitat Flats, we use HuntProof. Therefore, if we're training your dog, you download HuntProof and use the dog training module. You're going to track your retrieves in the duck season. We want to see it. We're going to work together, and we're going to create the best dog we can.
And that's how we get you.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically like the idea of like, and Steven gets it from the idea of like a technology side with like, it's basically giving a dog an employee ID.
Yeah.
It just like, there is headaches in that. I just got a new computer at work and all that fun stuff, transferring data around, and it's my third new computer because we get bought out every little bit and they give us new computers, because that makes complete sense. I mean, and it is a nightmare, and like, I mean, there are going to be headaches in it, because I mean, it's data. It's like the most, technology is amazing until it goes to like, you try to get it to work and do one thing and it decides it wants to be stupid and do something completely different.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm tracking every, Nathan kind of touched on it earlier in regards to, you do one thing, something else breaks. So then you have to double proof and triple proof and QA everything pre-launch. So we definitely see that in the app.
Yeah. I mean, it was just something I thought of, because like, I was thinking like, like it'd be cool to be able to buy, like, I see a lot of guys like share like 6-month-old dogs that are started and stuff. I'm definitely interested in that. So now this feature, when it comes out, is it going to be like a different subscription, or is it going to be built into the current subscription?
That we're still working on. More than likely, it will be an add-on. Relatively minimal. Development is expensive when you're within the app world, so we do have to see that there's a tension in providing value and being everything to everybody, right? So if you're me and you don't have a dog, you have an old cat that you speed up in the driveway every time you see it outside because it's lived a good life. But I don't run dogs, right? So do I want my home screen? Do I want access to all of this stuff where it's kind of muddying things?
Yeah.
I probably don't. Now I do, obviously, because we're working on it and we're testing. But I do think that there is a danger in being in saying, hey guys, here are all these options, right? Rather than, nope, I just want to use it for turkey and duck.
Yeah.
And so the more than likely what we're working on is there will be a small fee bumping you up into not necessarily a premium version, but something a little bit beyond premium, just because there is going to be a lot of bandwidth and a lot of specifically with images and saving all of that. It is going to require more server space, a larger database. And obviously we want to, as much as we want to provide value and keep people on the app, we also need to sell the app to be able to develop new cool things. So it will be, that's something that we're working through on pricing right now, but it won't be an enormous amount.
Yeah. I mean, like that's the thing. Like, I get that completely with like how like I work and stuff. Like, everything comes at $1 and it comes at like a storage space, man. It is, we were chit-chatting before this got started. Me and Nathan were about like control and data and like storage in it. And I told him, man, I ain't figured out a good way, and it's expensive. It is one of the most expensive things out there to just store something digitally. But I mean, Google every single day is buying a bunch of land and putting a new cloud system in so that we can upload a bunch of stuff and put it on the cloud, man. I mean, it's one of the biggest I'd say it's one of the biggest markets right now is cloud storage, and it's like we're never gonna have enough, man. At the end of the day, we're not.
Yeah.
Like for the world, we just will never have enough. Yeah, I mean that's man, I'm excited for that. I'll definitely have to just slap my credit card out on the table and just be like, okay, let's do this. But let's talk. We talked a little bit turkey. It's kind of the newer one that you guys rolled out this past year. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I liked all the features in it. The mapping was another big thing. Dude, you guys have killed it on the mapping side. The ability to like the roost setups. I think strut areas. Dude, there's definitely. I mean, there's just so I can't think of everything right now because I did a poor job planning. But yeah, it's definitely that is one of the coolest features. I think was the ability to just look at a map, pull it up where I hunted, put in all the information I had for that day, and it definitely helped me this year. I was able to go back and look at it and be like, okay, like so this is where they were, and like turkey's going to move a little bit, but you can track kind of a pattern on where they're moving.
Yeah, as long as you don't bust them. So something I did this year, and what we included on the app is other hunters, right? So I hunt in an area actually down by Nathan that I thought I was the only one, and until this season, when about 40 yards behind me, I hear I hear an owl hoot. But instead of it sounding like an owl hoot, it sounded like you reading a book on how an owl sounds. Hoot, 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 hoot. And so I'm like, that's a dude. And so it turns out there was a guy probably 60 yards away from me on the other property. So I backed out of there, still really early in the morning. I put him later in the day when I went back to do my log. I bumped into the guy later that day because I heard a shot. I actually heard two shots. I'm like, oh, great. He got one. So I kind of walked on the other property, talked to him. And it turns out there was another guy about 30 yards away from him on the other side of a tree line. And he saw that other guy shot a turkey that the other dude was working and missed him. And the turkey flew over him and the guy shot towards him. And so all three of us within that morning, we were probably within 80 yards on a corner of our property. We had no idea that we were there. And so I logged all those guys. I stayed away from that part of the property the next few days. But it is creating that turkey really kind of made us push out of not I would say a basic map feature on waterfowl. I think we'll probably readdress that. But there's so much more. There's predators, there's roost sites, there are nest sites, there's tracks, there's all these different things that you can log within there. And I think that it specifically, like you mentioned, there's a lot of pressure in an area. I'm not really going to go back there, both from a turkey standpoint and a safety standpoint, right?
Yeah.
And specifically, if I'm hunting a property and it's really dense, sometimes I won't know where I'm at. Like I'll have to pull out like the app or GPS and figure out where I'm at on the property. So like logging all of that, figuring out, hey, here's that roost tree, here's my notes from yesterday. I think it goes a long way. It was a really solid tool specifically for me this season.
Yeah, and I mean that is, man, there's nothing worse than like turkey hunting and running into somebody, because I say it all the time. The worst and most dangerous hunting there is out there is straight up turkey hunting.
Anytime someone's even remotely around me, it like ruins the experience for me. I'm so jumpy.
Oh yeah, like so me and some family, we kind of hunted the same area, but like the whole entire time we're staying in text communication. We're like, hey, we're here.
Yeah.
And you know we're staying in nonstop, because I mean it is, man, it's I don't even know how to put it, man. It's just not an enjoyable thing when you get around someone you don't know's there. Because it's kind of crazy how dangerous it is, to not get off on tangent, but like how many people get shot making a hen turkey noise by somebody is stupid. I mean, there's a kid about every year that gets killed in West Virginia, and it's a sad freaking ordeal. Like, I mean, I don't know. I've never I mean, I don't know. I've never done any. I guess I don't know. I was raised a little different. I was raised like turkey hunting mostly, so I guess I kind of understand it very well. But I mean, it's just a crazy thing that there's always someone who like gets shot at something when you're shooting at something you're not even supposed to shoot at.
It's why I don't even like running decoys much anymore.
And
Is
I wonder if
because-
that's why people's went away from it, because it's a big thing now. No one runs decoys. But yeah,
you're sitting behind a Dave Smith. Like that bad boy's looking good to somebody who hasn't shot anything all season.
well, I can't afford a Dave Smith decoy. I'll just let you know right there. I'm more of the. Actually, I don't have the foam one no more. I used to. I run a Lucky Duck now. They look quite nice, but they don't look as good as a Dave Smith. I love the.
I stopped this late season. This season I kind of stopped and got a little less aggressive on it. It's actually a lot more fun, man.
Yeah.
Because you don't rely on them. It doesn't give you that buffer. Like you really gotta, kind of hide the hen or work them in. But late season, it's like once they're all fought out, they get a little spooky around like a quarter strut Jake, or you can still like I'll run a solo hen or something late season. But this season I think I didn't do very good this season. But I think I had more fun than I've ever had because I didn't rely on like my comfort blanket. Not saying that, nothing against decoys. I still run decoys every season, but it was a different experience for me. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was trying to get my father-in-law one, and I was trying to get one, the right way, coming in, gobbling, coming to us, and that kind of cost him probably shooting either Jake, which I was going to let him mollywop the Jake. He couldn't see it. Kind of like I did not realize that he was that much shorter than me when we kind of sat down. So I could see it plain as day. He could not see it. And then I had 3 kind of coming up a fence line, and I didn't know there was hens with them that kind of turned around and went back the other way. And to make it worse, like we left those ones because we had just seen one strutting on another piece of property. I was like, hey, we'll circle that one. I don't know where that turkey went to either. He was kind of a mystery all year. He would just randomly show up and be in this one spot in the field, and he'd be there strutting. I don't think anyone ever shot him, but we left those 3, and my brother-in-law and uncle circled around, and they're like, hey, are you here? And I was like, no. We left, have at them, and they literally basically walked within 80 yards of them, if not more, sat down, put out decoys, did not even know they were there, made like 2 noises, and one like walked like up a little incline in a field and just popped up and looked at him. Yeah. And they shot that one, and then they go pick him up, and like all the other ones are just kind of like chilling there behind him. They didn't even know what happened, and they shot another one, and I was like, that kind of sucks.
Yeah. The turkey hunt, man, it's like, at least for me, like it teaches me something every year. Yes. Even though like I go into the season narcissistic, right? Like, oh, I'm a crush.
Yeah.
Got this new shell. You know what I mean? And then I don't crush. But like, yeah, every season I'm like, I always learn the lesson. Man, I call way too much.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then I go into the next season, I can't call this much. But then, like when you're in the heat of it, you want to know that those boys still love you. You know what I mean? To get them fired off, like I'm addicted to it.
I don't do good playing hard to get. We'll just put it that way. If I was a girl, I would not be good at playing hard to get. I would.
No, not at all, not at all.
So, I mean that kind of wraps up what you have out now, and you're looking at. I guess you said pheasant coming out soon.
Yeah, upland hunting. It is. We're actively, for the past 2 years, we've had a lot of people. We do have like some dove and stuff within the duck hunting module that will be migrating over the new upland module. But that seemed like the logical next step. Is we're a wing shooting app primarily, and we have a whole different market I think is going to be exciting. We're gonna have to learn about it. I dove hunt. We don't have pheasant. I mean, we have pheasant that people release here in Southern Illinois, but we don't have that robust of hunting as other states. Yeah. So it's a new thing that we're going to have to rely on people like, hey, does this look cool? Like via beta testing, does this work for you? What do you want to see here? Nathan's had a lot of conversations with various people within that industry that I think we've got a pretty good beat on it. But again, it's all going to be iterative once we launch.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that being just like the kennel module being very valuable to like the game farm guys. Like, like they can kind of track, because a lot of them, like I know the one near me because I have one within like 5 minutes of my house. I've never been there. I know a ton of guys that have been there. They do a lot of great stuff in the community. I should probably go to the one because they donate a lot to Ducks Unlimited and Delta. But those guys, man, they definitely like. I've had guys tell me like, hey, you want to go on like a Sunday or like a Monday if he's got availability because you get all the leftover birds. I'm like, how does he keep track of what the leftover bird? Like, I mean, I don't know anything about that, but it'd be like a great way, like, be able to track, like, okay, we set this amount, we shot this amount, and a lot of those guys run dogs. Also, they run their own dogs, or they have someone bring in dogs. So that's definitely a pretty interesting thing. I mean, I would love to go do like the South Dakota or North Dakota like public land. Actually, my cousin and them, I assume it'll be like a private landlord deal. They bought a hunt at a DU event, so they're headed out that way this fall.
Awesome, man. Yeah, we're hoping to get it out by September. We're pushing that in front of the kennel, just because I think it's going to be a quicker launch. It's been designed for a while now, so we're hoping sometime mid this summer we'll have that bad boy out.
That's awesome. Yeah, definitely something that like I don't do, but I kind of would enjoy like the dove side of it. I'm trying to get more into dove hunting, just because it's something to do in September. Our early goose makes me want to beat my head against the wall because they basically sit in town until it snows, or until we get like some migrators in, like all the locals. They basically go set on the local park pond. So it's definitely turned into like, we can't really. I know you guys been from out where you're from. Like you guys probably have definitely took the brunt force of the geese setting in town now, but like it's definitely like it's gonna be something a little different. I kind of like that idea of like seeing the dove over there.
No, absolutely. And so like I said, probably hopefully before September, we'll have all that migrated, and then we'll have something for the upland guys.
Yeah, you gotta remember too, upland is very dog oriented as well. So there's going to be a lot of dog stuff inside the upland module as well. And a lot of your upland hunts is based on tracking points and stuff like that. So should be a lot of dog tracking in there as well.
Yeah, man, I need to throw when y'all get this out. There's a guy local here that has it's a random lab he got from a. Oh no, the meeting ended. Hold on. Time out. Go back to main screen. That's hilarious. Okay, that's quite our luck. That's so funny. All right. Well, while we're waiting on this new meeting, start instant meeting. Oh, this would not be this team without. Yep. Here, let's do this. I can add Steven super quick. All right. And, well, that was an outstanding job, Nathan. Oh, well, to run back, dude, I can pause this. Yep, there we go. Okay. Video side's going to have to run, but we'll get that side paused. We'll have these guys back in just a second. I don't have Steven's email. We send a message over to Steven. Send Steven an invite back, and then here, let me go. Man, this is outstanding failure. This is so funny. Well, here, let's throw up the hold screen.
Rugged, lightweight, comfortable, handcrafted rockin' leather boots. Made to work all day and be out all night. RockinLeather.com. Introducing the Rixie Generation 2 Dog Stand. Lightweight, collapsible, and engineered for versatility. This stand is built with a laser-cut powder-coated steel frame, tempera aluminum legs, and a durable Duramesh fabric. Weighing just under 8 pounds, it's effortless to carry and set up. With a working load limit of 120 pounds, it attaches to nearly any tree. Available now at RixieOutdoors.com.
Winter Productions, content creation company that is here to tell your story, whether it's about the love of your life or capturing the chase of a lifetime. We are here to tell your story.
Roll up to the club in my 1964 caddy straight ready to start. At a quarter to one, just a looking for
Man,
fun.
you really gotta sell this place.
I said, let's go smoke that
Let's go kill some ducks.
Take another shot, get a lip on me, baby. Ooh, it's a quarter to
Let's go. Yo. I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it. Fuse like a magnet, lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes.
It's time to talk dog vest. Recoil Outdoors dog vest. We use this dog vest all season long. It's stood up to the test. Let's talk some features about it. This dog vest is built with industrial grade Velcro for a snug fit around the neck, unlike any competitors. This vest comes with dual rear straps for a snug fit around the waist. This vest allows for a tucked away handle for the timber or an open handle for open water. This vest also comes with covered edges around the neoprene to prevent chafing. Recoil vest also comes with a Cador chest strip that runs the length of the vest to prevent punctures and cuts. This vest comes in 6 different sizes, tailored to fit the smallest boykin to the biggest lad. Recoil Outdoors, the only fully adjustable one-piece dog vest on the market. Check them out online.
Hey everybody, we are back after my complete failure of noticing a clock in the bottom corner. Hit point.
Don't be too hard on yourself. It worked out.
It was hilarious. Everybody got to see an extra set of commercials. They look amazing.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have a hunt proof one in there soon. You know, I'll just keep riding on you guys till I get one.
Yeah, we can do one. I'll record one. Nathan, you and I can work on the content, or you can record one, or we can figure something out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a small break on recordings because I've got to get the new board interlaid, so all this will be like kind of fixed, so I don't have to use that app anymore. But
cool, awesome.
Yeah. So we were talking dogs in the world of upland, and yeah, you're right, man. They're gonna be a big part because I know guys that are like hard. I think those guys might be more hardcore than the waterfowl guys. They're just the normal hunter guys.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with all the details of it, but I know we've talked to a couple that are that we thought we were going to hit upland sooner than we have. So we had dug into this for a while ago and then had to hold off on releasing it. But there's a lot that goes into weather on how dogs pick up scent, and you keep the dogs. Sometimes dogs get more points versus actual flushes, and how they you keep that separate. And I think there's going to be a lot of I mean, it's going to be similar to waterfowl, but at the same way, it's going to be nothing like waterfowl. So it's going to be pretty cool, I think.
And if any of those listeners out there happen to be upland hunters and would like to educate Nathan and I by inviting us to hunt this fall, preferably in one of the Dakotas, we'll take you up on it.
Yeah, and he means Nathan Winterstein, not Nathan Marks. Okay, like I want to go.
Just me and you.
Yeah.
Dude, I think that would be. I actually tried to. Fun fact, real quick. There was a couple who was doing a wedding, and they were about offered them basically a free wedding video. They were upland bird hunters from Ohio, and they wanted an upland bird like engagement session. I was like, for like their engagement photos, and I was like, hey, I won't do your photos, but I'll be down to do the video for your wedding if it involves this right here. Like, I think that'd be so freaking cool. And I got no response back. So apparently they already had someone on that side, or they really just didn't care. But I thought that'd have been like the cooler. Yeah, hopefully. I've only done one wedding. Yeah, I've only done one wedding where the couple's no longer together. Maybe really? 2, because I haven't heard from one couple, but they were together forever before they got engaged. They probably just haven't like spoke to me.
Yeah,
they asked for revisions like a year and a half ago on their film, and like they never sent me the comments to do the revisions. So at this point, I feel like the times ran out. Just like on that last Google Meet. It
happens within the creative field.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So you guys have a lot going on. I mean, you've got a lot of stuff. We won't talk about like the future very much, because then we won't have a reason to get you guys back on here. Because I love talking to you guys through the app and stuff, going back and forth on stuff. What do you see for your fall right now? I mean, are you guys trying to go hunting anywhere, or you're going to be pretty busy, or what's your fall looking like right now?
So Nathan's going to South Dakota?
North
Dakota.
Yep.
So I was invited to South Dakota via text today that I have to let you know about. But Nathan's going to North Dakota. I'm just going, you were talking about subdivision geese. I live across from subdivision, but I also own a field that's gonna have corn in it this year. So I'm gonna do my best. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have any travel plans. We were invited to Idaho, which I think would be a lot of fun. Um, I'd love to. I'd love to do a little bit more than waterfowl out there, just because they have so many different species that we don't have around here. So that's a conversation that we'd have to have. But man, that'd be a blast. But as of right now, we don't have anything set in stone.
Yeah, big travels like that's just really tough with kids and leaving them home with the wife. I got 4 kids, and I know Steven's got a few, so it's a quick way to get in the doghouse. I think we're doing our North Dakota trip that we have planned is like 8 days, including drive time, 8 or 9 days drive time. And, to turn around and come back a few weeks later and maybe go to Idaho or go somewhere else, it's work related now because it's not just hunting trips. It's hunt proof content, so it's validated. But at the same time, it doesn't make it any easier when you're gone for the 5th day and one of the kids is losing their mind and the wife's ready to bang her head against the wall. Got to figure all that out.
Yeah, I think
unless that invite applies to hunting Miriam's or Rios, I forget what they have out there. In which case, I'll be fine. I'll take a few days.
they got Miriam's. I'm pretty sure.
Is it Miriam's? Not
Yeah,
that's what
yeah. I'm down. I'm down to shoot one of those too. I'm hoping. I'm going to do Arkansas this year again for sure in January. We've kind of already got that booked. Actually, need to hit the guy up and see if I need to send my deposit yet for that. So we got a group of guys going down there. I think I'll get a hunt Kentucky and probably Ohio, which those all are like day trips or every 2 days.
Yeah.
It's kind of like worked out well with my wife got a new job and stuff, so I can kind of get a little more relaxed. But yeah, like you said, I have 2 kids, both under 5, and they make you want to pull your hair out. I mean, we're awesome to have like an awesome support system real close here with my parents and her parents, which her mom's about to retire this fall, and then she's going to have nothing to do but take care of grandbabies. So that'll help us out some, but it definitely makes it a lot of work. I mean, I think 2 years ago when I was in Arkansas for like 4 days, I was 4 or 5 days is all I was there. We kind of just made like a random drive down. We were like, oh, let's go learn something about Arkansas. So we like pack it up, booked like basically one of them like little buildings you buy and put in your backyard was basically what we slept in. And we were there for like 4 days, I think, total. And my wife texted me like the second day and was like, hey, both the kids have the flu. I was like, oh, that sucks. I was like, we can like pack it up and then start driving. I mean, but we're gonna be like another day before we get back because I mean we gotta sleep and then get up. She's like, no, there's no worry. Don't worry about coming home and getting sick now. And I swear, like I think I drug my feet about coming home because I was like, I hate the flu. I can't stand having the flu. Sure enough, I get back. Everyone's better. My wife had got it like right there at the tail end before we got back, and she freaking gave it to me, and I was sicker than a dog like 2 days later, and I was so mad. I was like, I should have stayed in Arkansas. I don't care how big the doghouse would have been. I'd have lived in the sucker forever. But yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I'm trying to get better about trips and stuff. Luckily, my wife, her dad and brother kind of laid the groundwork for us being able to being able to kind of bail and leave where he did rodeo so much. It kind of just makes it easy because they were just gone all the time when she was younger. So kind of lays the groundwork and kind of helps. But like, I'm definitely trying to do better. I mean, the kids, they're getting where that they kind of want to go along. I mean, the older one does, but so it's getting harder. But yeah, I definitely want to do a couple other trips.
Yeah, the next few years, I got a bucket list. I really want to elk hunt in the mountains. Like I want to get into like some hard, sketchy stuff, right? Because man, that's a memory. And I'm like getting, I'm in my 40s now, and while I've never hunted in the mountains, I would imagine it doesn't get easier over time. And you always, or at least myself, you always think, oh, I'll do it someday, or when I get older, or when I become a grown up, right?
Yeah.
Like that is a part of, oh, I'll just put it off and do it. But then now you wake up and you're 70,
Yeah.
and so I really need to prioritize those. And I would love to go with my kids as they get older, but like those big, massive, pivotal experiences that you look back and you're carrying this elk out in the rain at dark and your headlights out. Like, I mean, that sounds like it sucks. That was a bad scenario. But I probably should have revised that. but like those big experiences that you'll only, you know what I mean, some cat from Southern Illinois will only do once or twice, right? Like that sounds amazing to me. And so I really need to kind of shift my brain away, like, dude, just go do it. Take a week, go do this thing that you've wanted to do for a long time. Stop putting it off. So I've got 3 kids. We just built a house. I work a lot, and I have had this on my bucket list for like 10 years, just staring at it. And so inevitably I'll get around to it, hopefully in the next year or two.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I'm starting to get like those bucket list hunts. You know, like I'm gonna hit a point. It's a lot easier to take, like, as the boys get older. I'm gonna plan to take them duck hunting and stuff, and that's kind of gonna happen. And we're gonna be able to turkey hunt local and stuff and everything. But it's kind of the things that like I wish I'd have done. You know, my dad took me when I was in college hog hunting, and that was a pretty cool experience. I mean, it was fun. It was outlawish. It was Georgia spotlighting hogs. It was a blast.
Yeah.
I mean, we weren't breaking laws, but like hogs are like free game. You can do all kinds of stuff.
Statute of limitations in Georgia is like, you're fine. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Trust me, they need if they want to. I can't even take them back to that place. I don't even know what part of Georgia we was in, but like, it's definitely one of those things that like you kind of get to where you want to do. I mean, like I'd love to go do an elk hunt. I'd always thought I would go do an elk hunt, but I'd want to do it with a bow or something. I was like, oh, it'd be so cool to do it with a bow. And then like,
yeah,
it's becoming such popular that they actually did away with like some over the counter tags and stuff in like Colorado, which sucks.
I've seen that.
Which is going to make it a lot harder. I've got friends who they buy preference points every year, and I'm kind of like really bad about saving money and not buying stuff. And I just have a hard time spending the money to buy a preference point. It's just, I mean, it's like you spend a lot of, I don't know, I just don't do a very good job at that. It's just,
well, they've got elk in Eastern Kentucky.
I put in for that. I didn't win that. I didn't win that either. That's a cheap draw. It's actually only $40. And the way I looked at it was this is about to sound bad. It's about to sound like not a great hunter thing, but I was literally doing that one with the thoughts of like, I really didn't care if I drew like a bull tag. I was like, man, if I could just have the ability to go shoot an elk and bring the meat home would be so cool.
I'd kill a cow in a heartbeat. Yeah,
I mean,
I don't think I've got I wouldn't shoot a Jake, but I'd kill a cow all day.
Yeah, I'll shoot. I mean, it's just like me shooting does, man. Line them up.
Yeah.
I don't live in a big buck state, so I don't get to enjoy that. But
I shoot does every year. But no, I've got no qualms on that. Anything that walks in front, I'm not a trophy hunter. I just want the experience.
Okay, I like that. I mean, you could get along, I think, on hunts. Nathan, is there any hunt that you're kind of looking at that you would like to do, like something? It can be something with you. It might be more waterfowl, like the Salt Lakes in Utah.
Yeah, I really, if you're talking bucket list waterfowl for me, it would probably be like skinny water, Platte River skinny water stuff. That would be my number one. Go out there and every volley is a single shot with an over under 28 gauge, something like that, where it's a gentleman's hunt, just picking off greenheads or widgeon or something like that. I actually, it really would be able to happen for a while with kids and stuff like that. But I do look forward to the time where here in the future, we've had multiple, I think we had a group of guys that have been using the app from Nebraska. They had messaged us towards the end of last year and invited us out. Like, I really look forward to the situation where we can start doing that. Like, maybe if it's only 1 or 2 a year, I'm going to North Dakota every year I possibly can from now on. It's just a good time. It's relatively cheap. It's just a great time. But from here on out, like, it would be nice to be able to join up with some guys that we've met or talked to through the app, and just, first time you meet them, you go shoot some ducks together 3 or 4 days, and it doesn't have to be a massively long trip, but it would just be neat to go do that over the years, start hitting up other guys, come hunt with you, or you come hunt with us, or whatever. It's not that great, but it doesn't, where we're at, but it doesn't matter. It's about, like Steven said, memories. And The first time we went to North Dakota, we hooked up with a group from Wisconsin, and I think they had six hunters with their group, and we ended up hunting our first hunt together. That first day, we shot 70 ducks together. And I'm not gonna lie, we were a little frustrated when we got started, the way the day had started, and we met them the night before, and thought we found a lot of ducks in the field, and we were going to get them, and then these guys got in the way, and we were mad about it, and it turned out being a heck of a time. Probably one of the funnest, maybe the second funnest hunt of that whole trip, and it obviously could not always going to go like that. You might turn into a total cluster, but at the same time, I think it would be fun to travel all over the U.S. and hunt with fellow HuntProof users and get to know people and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's about the experiences. Like I was just making a note there that, like, I mean, it's crazy that, like, you guys created this app and everything, and it's kind of just like, it's not similar, but to the extent like I created, like, doing this podcast and a little bit of media, like more on the waterfowl side than anything else, and like that's led to kind of some really cool experiences, meeting some like really awesome people, and it's like, it's just an add-on. It's literally like an add-on to like your life that like you didn't expect to do it. And I mean, like I tell everyone, like, we're lucky to have a ton of black ducks out here for the most part. And like I tell everyone, man, like come shoot a black duck. I know it's a pretty rarity once you hit that central area. I mean, we can get in the black ducks a lot more. Black ducks and wood ducks, man. We're like littered with them. That's what we end up with in January. It feels like at times.
Yeah, I think it is the kind of or bouncing off of meeting people in the space, and it's kind of like a part of your life. Like I look at it as I'm talking to people that I've listened to podcasts that years ago I've heard on podcasts, and I still think that that's weird. You know what I mean? And it is, or having Mojos to talking to the Ramsey Russell introducing you to the CEO of Mojo, right? And then you're talking to him, and so it is it's a weird thing to sit back and look at it. From a few years ago, we were just, like I said, I've listened to Ramsey on Meat Eater. I started listening to Ramsey, and I have Ramsey in my phone that I text with, and so it's hard to. And then meeting all of like the industry contacts and all these people from brands that you think are like these big ethereal brands, and they're just dudes, and it's been a fun experience, to say the least.
Yeah, I think it's pretty rare that you actually run into someone in the industry, the hunting space, that doesn't like, that's not going to pull up a chair and chit chat with you for at least 10 minutes. Yeah. It's one of the, it's one of the things that I learned from Ronnie Phillips from Heartland Waterfowl, and like I'll say this all the time, like he changed my thought process completely. Like, ask. All you gotta do is ask and reach out. Like 99% of the time, they're gonna respond. They're gonna chit chat with you.
People like to talk about themselves. They like to talk about their hobbies. They like to talk about their interests. And so, they're in a space where they're getting to do both from a professional sense and a personal sense. So like, even for me, I'm my full-time, my actual job is, has nothing to do with the outdoor space. But if I find out a client likes to hunt, all right, I've got that little conspiracy between us because I know that that's what they want to talk about. Right. And so it is, it's a blast, man. It's a fun space to be in.
Yeah, I would agree with that, man. I mean, is there anything else? I will say this much. So you guys are pretty good friends with the Off the X guys, and I'm not going to ask you to tell the story, the Sasquatch story, because it is pretty famous.
I mean, I'm all prepped. Like you call me 3:00 in the morning, I got you. I've had that thing locked and loaded.
I mean, if you'd want to tell it here, it'd be awesome to hear it. But I know that like a lot of people, like that's like they love it over there, and that was like they have it as like their number one story ever told on their podcast.
Do they really? They said that?
Yeah. I'm like, I kind of listen to their podcasts. I way more than I listen to my own, to be honest. I don't know if they even listen to
all the X, but yeah, no, I mean, I know, but we're buddies with those guys. Those guys are great.
They're a great group of guys.
Judson from Nathan Judson from Old Woods. Every time he sees a like a Bigfoot Facebook video. He messages it to me. So I was just talking to him like 2 days ago. So I got you. So Nathan and I, man, we were probably freshmen in college. We had hunted for a few times before that. But my family used to own 80 acres. And within that 80 acres, it was bisect. It was mostly field. There was a little bit of a slough in the back part. But it was bisected by railroad tracks. And so there was on two properties over, there's a trestle bridge that was over like a pond. And so we went back there, we trespassed, but it was, in my understanding, it was a very older lady from Chicago that had never been in there since my dad or my grandpa owned the property. So we went back in there, and I think we shot a gadwall or something that we lost. I can't remember what it was.
We both shot a duck. So we had a pair of ducks came in, and we both shot our duck. I think it was a mallard hen and a mallard drake, I believe.
That's what it was. And
I remember. I think I shot the hen, but I remember bringing it home and squeezing acorns out of it.
Well, there was one that I think I lost mine.
Yes, yours fell farther in the woods, and we went.
And we went all through the woods, and it started getting dark. So anyway, we're standing in the woods, and we're shooting them as they came in. And mine I shot them as it was. I don't even remember where I shot it, but we lost it in the woods, like dry woods. And so it's getting dark. We had headlamps. We're way back in there, and I mean like way back in there, like we're way far away from roads. And I had my great grandpa's Browning Sweet 16. It's like my dad's most prized gun. And I'm like 19 years old. And so we're back there for a while. It's starting to get dark. By the time we make it back to the railroad tracks, it's dark, right? Like there's not much. We didn't have flashlights. We didn't have anything. So we get up on the bridge and we start walking back. And it's probably, I don't know, a mile, 3/4 of a mile back to my car. And Nathan and I are talking, and again, it's black, but there's the moon's out, and you can kind of see things as it's kind of silhouetting, way up in front of you because you just got a straight railroad. And so Nathan and I are talking, and I stop and I go, Nathan, there's somebody up there on the tracks. And I see somebody walk across, no headlight, no nothing. We're way back in there, like way back. It's one of those railroad beds that are steep. You know what I mean? Like they have the rock, and then you got to walk up. I see him walk up, and I see him stand on the railroad track, and I see him turn, and you could just see the silhouette. How far would you say? I mean, he was pretty decent far away.
Yeah, probably 80 to 100 yards.
Yeah, but you could see the silhouette where it's obviously a person. But you can't make out any details, and they were a very tall person. I'm the first to say I think Bigfoot would have been caught on a trail cam by now, but I have no explanation on this. So my brain and Nathan's like, I don't see him. And so we stop and we're looking at each other, and we're looking at this thing or whoever it was for probably 2 minutes. And he's standing there, I'm standing there, right? And Nathan and I are standing there. And all of a sudden he turns and then walks down into the woods. My brain goes, crap, game warden. And I had left my license and everything up in the car. And being like 20, my brain goes, my head goes is, he's going to take my great grandpa's gun, and then I'm literally going to be murdered, right? And so my dad's going to be pissed. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do here. This is like his thing. And like reasonably, I could have been like, hey man, license in my car. Do you care if I go grab it? But I'm 19. I'm not thinking that. And it's dark and I don't have a flashlight. And so I take the gun and I tuck it up I walk down the bank of the railroad and I tuck it up under a log. And so I'm thinking, oh, there's Nathan hunting. I was just hanging out. And so we walk the 80 yards, and at no point do I think that it's something weird. I still think it's a game warden. And we walk to the point where whatever it was or whoever it was walked in the woods, and I'm expecting, every bit of me is expecting a flashlight to turn on and somebody to yell something at me. It doesn't happen. So we're walking, and now we start to get a little weird feeling. So we walk the other half mile to my car, And even up until I get to my car, I'm thinking I'm going to see a game warden truck right by my car. We don't see one. So that's when I realized my gun is 3/4 a mile back. We don't have flashlights. We have to both walk. Nathan's got a gun, so we're good. I don't have a flashlight on my car. Whatever it was watched us, or whoever it was watched us. They knew we were there because it was looking at us, or they were looking at us, and they're sitting in the woods as we walked by them. And that scares the crap out of me. I even got goosebumps now just telling the story. So I'm like, crap, we've got to go back and get that gun. So we go all the way back. And another part of me still thinks somebody's going to yell something, or we're going to have a flashlight turned on us. We get to the point where whoever it was walked in the woods, nothing. So I get all the way down to my gun. And you think, like, I have to walk down and kind of in the woods down this embankment into it with no flashlight, knowing there's somebody on that side of the woods, scared me to death. And so I come back. We walk all the way back to my car, no flashlight. All the while, whoever was sitting in the woods looking at us as we passed 3 different times. I have no explanation on why somebody would be that deep in the woods back in there, crossing a railroad track. It wasn't like they were following the railroad corridor like a hobo. You know what I mean? This was somebody walking from woods corridor to woods corridor, and we just happened to see them way back in there. I have absolutely no explanation for that. If it was a poacher, I would imagine we would have seen a light or something coming through woods, at least crossing the railroad tracks. I've got nothing. But that was just imagine getting back to the car and thinking, oh crap, I got to go get that gun.
Yeah.
And there's more details that I don't remember, but I remember it being a big dude and us looking at each other on the railroad tracks for a good 2.5 minutes.
So, yeah, like I completely agree with you. There is 100% chance that there is a Bigfoot would have been caught on trail camera. It's my same theory with like mountain lions in the state of West Virginia that they swear are here. I'm like, there's too many trail cameras. I know guys running like 20 trail cameras and they're not catching them on camera. But man, there's some stuff that happens that you cannot explain, and it is the worst. And it's kind of, not to sound like a little wuss, but it's kind of one of the reasons I truly do not like coon hunting. I didn't really like it at a young age. I'm like, dude, it's just too much of dark. I mean, at least like duck hunting, like, you know, you've got like the headlamps, a lot of people there, and it gets daylight eventually. And I mean,
there's not you ever heard a red fox start crying in the woods in the middle of the night at night?
I mean, it's
sounds like a freaking banshee. There's not as tough as a dude. So I deer hunt a lot. And so I walk through the woods alone in the dark a lot. As tough as a dude can be, there's nobody in the world that is deer hunted walking their stand that hasn't at one point put a hand on their knife. Like, it's not because they heard something weird. So yeah, I still have got I have no explanation on why somebody would do that, nor make themselves known that they were there. It boggles my brain.
I'll tell you what'll scare you real quick is if you're wading, nut deep out in the water setting decoys, and a beaver decides to slap his tail right next to you, that will wake you up because you're for sure getting ate by jaws. I mean, it's your local lily pad pond, but by golly, that's jaws under there getting ready to grab you.
Oh yeah, an alligator somehow has found its way to like wherever you're at. I mean, it's I can't stand beavers. They're the biggest pain in the butts. I do have a buddy who I won't say their name if they come after him. I'm pretty sure it's close. I have no idea when beaver season is either, and I won't even say what state it was, but they legit had to shoot a beaver one day because it would not leave. Like it was trying to like come at them. Like, I don't know if it was like they were like too close to like its hut or something, but it was like legit. Like they kept like swinging a stick at it. Like they were trying to get a duck out of the water. And like finally it like swam far enough away, and the one guy on the bank was like, I just shot it. He goes, at that point, I didn't know what to do with it no more.
Yeah, dude, if it's sick or something, you don't want to take that risk. Yeah.
No.
But no, those things don't play. Like if they get a little aggressive.
Yeah. I have another buddy who has a hilarious story of how, I'll tell you off air. That's not an on air story to tell about trapping muskrats. It's He told it in a science class in high school, and he knows who it was, and it was quite funny of a story, but it's not one for on the air. But man, this has been an awesome one. We're sitting here about like 25 minutes left on this, but we've been going for a good while. I'm gonna let you guys hop off here and enjoy the rest of your evening. I've got to try to find some photos and send over to a client. So, real quick, you guys kind of like lay out where they can find HuntProof and everything.
Yeah, the website is huntproof.app, APP, not .com. We are most active on Instagram. I believe it's at HuntProof. So hit us up there, give us a follow, and shoot us a message. We'll be happy to hear from you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nathan, you got anything to wrap us up? Or are you just gonna enjoy the Steven talking about turkeys?
He got his section on waterfowl. All right. I had a good 20-minute span where I barely made a noise.
Oh,
Hey, I let him tell his Sasquatch story. That's all he needs.
I love that story. That's the only reason I'm here. But no, man, we appreciate you having us, man. This was fun. I was sincerely looking forward to this.
yeah, guys, we're gonna definitely have to get back together and do it again. Maybe this fall or something. Just tell hunting stories. I'd love to catch up with you guys this fall when we get some time. Maybe during December or something. We'll see how y'all are doing, how we're doing.
Absolutely, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe, like we said, we may have to just get together and shoot a black duck or something, or come down here. We actually did pretty well on our early September season on geese. So if you feel like traveling down and shooting some teal and geese together, you might be able to pull that off.
That's a lot. I've shot green wing. I might have shot one blue wing, but it was like I shot the green wing in like January. I was on a hunt where we had some blue wings come in, and I will not further discuss that hunt because real quick for the backstory on that, it was three of us, like me and some other buddies, all were at the same ramp, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna go hit this creek." We're like, "Okay, we're gonna go a little farther and hit this creek," and it was like the story on their side is way funnier than ours. Like we're trying to get back in there, and man, it is shallow. Luckily, I got the mud motor, and I started having like battery issues, like starter issues, and it turned out it was a switch on my boat, and I finally got that figured out. But like we were having like a ton of trouble, and like I was losing like lighting and stuff, and like we finally get back in there, and I've got to go back and pick up two other guys and bring them back in there because the one boat couldn't make it. We get in there, and we're hunting this like little shallow water back in this creek and stuff, and I guess it was starting to break daylight and stuff, and like we were like, man, like we getting set up. We're like, man, this might be good. This might be pretty good in here. So they're like four of us were getting set up. I got the pup with me, and I'm like, hey, I'll sit behind you guys. Y'all kind of like take care of this. I'll just run the call and work my pup and let her try to get some lessons. And I kind of put her. I put her at a big disadvantage because I put her behind a tree and she couldn't see real well. I should have went a little farther right, but like the water wasn't like super big, so it was kind of like the best place I could get behind. And I guess like shooting time starting to get close, we start hearing ducks, and I start giving them a little chatter, giving them a little talk. I'm like looking at my one buddy. I was like, hey, this might get good. Like this might be very interesting in a second. Like this might be oh mom. And like my dog's name's Teal, and I got in trouble for naming her Teal already once by this group of guys, and they go, hey, Teal's in the water. Well, I'm spinning in a circle trying to find her. I'm like standing beside my dog stand. I'm reaching down. I'm like, hey, she's right here. What are you talking about? And they're like, Teal's in the water. I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, the bird teal is setting in the water. And I was like, oh, that's what that noise is. They're like, yeah, the little beep noise out there is a teal.
Yeah.
And they're like trying to find them. They can't see them. And about that time, a group of mallards start working us. And I'm like, screw the teal. Let's shoot these. And I start working them down in. And lo and behold, my other buddies were within earshot, it turns out. I guess the one guy looks over at them and goes, they're not hearing any ducks. And he goes, man, you think we'll be able to hear them shoot? And they said like he finished that sentence, and that was about the time like 5 of those dropped down in the hole. And I was like, oh, kill them things. And they shot horrible. We shot 1 out of 5, which was real bad. But like, I guess
you look fast, man.
Well, it was mallards. Oh, they weren't moving fast at all. It was bad. And like, I guess my other buddy turned around and looked at the other one and goes, yeah, we can hear them. And like, I was like, man, I wish you guys were with us. But it was just one of them funny things that like they're texting me and they go, that was you guys just shot, wasn't it? I was like, yes. And they're like, did you get any? I was like, I don't want to talk to numbers at the moment. There's something in the water, but I don't want to talk to numbers. But yeah, it's like crazy. It's funny how like those stories just work out like that.
No, for sure.
Yeah, we had one early teal season. Speaking of teal season, we had I have a little pond that I've got a little sheet water area that we flood out, and literally like maybe an acre, but it's all moist soil. It's a really good teal spot if we catch them at the right time. You know, here today, gone tomorrow, early teal season. And anyway, I don't remember if something happened. I think I had a kid wake up that morning early, had to put him back to sleep, or I was just dragging. Anyway, you know, teal season for us is 30 minutes, or it's on sunrise. You know, it's not 30 minutes before sunrise.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit brighter. Anyway, I was kind of dragging, and I showed up, and as I turned the corner to come to my property to where I can literally see, you know, the blind and the mojos, and I can hear bang, 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 you know, two buddies unloading, and I can see birds flying out. And I'm like, oh yeah, I hope they got some, you know. Well, I get there, and I got my dog, and we start walking out. I'm like, well, how many did you get? And they're just giggling, you know, laughing. None, you know. So I start giving them a hard time. Well, then I think we did have another flock come in, and, you know, 3 of us empty our guns and flock of 7 or 10 or whatever it was. And I think we might have dropped 2 maybe. And yeah, so we shot a few dozen teal this year, but we missed 3 times that in opportunities for sure, you know. So but we do have a good time. We did shoot pretty well with the local Canada geese, and we did have I would say better than average for our locals. So it's pretty fun early season when you can get them Canada's just to finish at 15, 20 yards, and we do it over, you know, we can do it over dry land and water, so it's pretty sweet.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we unfortunately don't have a teal season in West Virginia, but Ohio does. And like we were hunting a spot for some Canadians in a backwater, and we had to sit there and watch teal just buzz us all morning long. Come in, they'd land in the water in front of us, and then they'd bust back up. And I'm like looking at someone, I'm like, dude, we could have like 18 of them suckers by now. I was like, the tickets would be high, but we could have 18 of them at the moment. Like I was like, I think we shot like 2 yeas, and we had like, I'd say 20 to 30 teal in the decoys throughout the morning, and it was just one of those like, crap, man. But yeah, that's kind of how our season went there early. But yeah, we'll definitely have to catch up this fall and get together and maybe talk a little hunting, and maybe I can make a run out or something. Or if you guys run out this way, you know, November or something, we'll get together and try and make a plan. We'll definitely stay in touch.
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely, man.
Absolutely. Yep.
Hey guys, I'll let y'all hop off here and enjoy the rest of your evening. And I'm gonna get off here and do a couple things, and I'll hit you guys up.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Later. All right, so this has been technology struggle night for Nathan. Took me forever to get the camera to hook up, start the night. Everyone was functional, on point. All the software worked correctly, and I missed the clock running out of time on an hour-long Google Meet. But we've been here for a while. We kind of missed the intro, but thank you to all the sponsors. You know, HuntProof, Dirty Duck, Rixie, Recool, Bluebird, Rockin' Leather, Winter Productions, you know, everything. I mean, I know the one's mine, but, you know, everything I pour into this is awesome. I just ordered a new board. We're trying to move away from this software and just kind of run it on a board. So we're going to see how that goes, and hopefully it works out a lot better. It won't be as strenuous on my laptop. It'll make my laptop just kind of like a straight viewer and stuff. So that's kind of where we're at now. Man, I don't know what else to say other than thank you guys for all the downloads. This episode is probably, we're recording this a little early in June, and it'll probably come out right there before 4th of July. So everyone have an amazing 4th of July. Have a fun time, spend time with the family on your vacations, cookouts, whatever you're doing. And we'll catch you soon with a lot of duck talk in action, man. Peace out.